Because I realized that what was living behind that boy's eyes was purely and simply evil.
You thought the game was over, but it's only just begun. Hello, everyone. It's time to play a game.
You'll make it. So long as you keep your head.
Saw X.
Well, I'm Massacre, no one is safe. I hope everyone's having a fantastic day today. So some news to definitely go over involving Kevin Guthrie, the director to Saw 10, and involving some of the traps that are in this movie. A couple other things, some Mark Hoffman news. I mean, we already kind of know Mark Hoffman is in this movie, but I think this video has made it more official for him to return. He was at like one of those horror cons, and a fan did go up to him. So look at this.
Thank you so much, man. Awesome. Sweet. Hope to see you in Saw X. I know you can't say anything, but see ya.
I love Akostas Mandalore so much, man. I really do, man, because I just know he was so excited to just get back into everything. We saw a couple, not really interviews. Hopefully we get some interviews from Tobin Bell and even, Akostas Mandalore. His birthday, by the way, just passed by, so happy birthday to him. Just made it so obvious that he's going to be in it. He can't say anything, obviously, but you know that he is definitely in this movie, okay? And he looks fantastic. I think he's gonna look great. Yeah, speaking of people that, you know, I'm not gonna be too fond of how they look in this film, it's really gonna be Shawnee Smith as Amanda. I mean, I think she looks fine, you know what I mean? She definitely looks a little bit older. I'm not gonna be, I don't even really care, to be honest. I know some people do care, but you know, she definitely, you know, there's no hiding it. She definitely looks a little bit older in this film. But from the start of this whole entire planning of Saw 10 from last year, you know, Kevin Guthrie has already said that she was a big part of being in this film. She wasn't going to be into, you know, she wasn't letting on to this film the last second they were filming, or, you know, as a background character. You know, she's at this time between Saw 1 and Saw 2, she has got high devotion for John Kramer at the time, and looks up to him as a leader, as a father figure, and is going to be a big help in this film when it comes to getting these doctors in this building to start doing these traps and start, you know, preparing this whole entire game. So this is a new photo that did come out the other day on her, and look, she looks great, you know, and for the character, for herself, I think she's going to be absolutely amazing. Some people were kind of clowning her for the hairdo and what she looks like, so it's going to be interesting. I can't wait to see her with the pig mask back on and start attacking people, and, you know, it's going to be a lot of fun with her returning, so I'm very happy. So we have some news on Kevin Guthrie and the brutal traps. Saw X traps are so brutal they made the director nervous. And there's a lot of good information to kind of go through here. So it says that I was very nervous about some of the things that we did, nervous on the safety level, and nervous thinking it was just going to look ridiculous. And I totally agree with that, because what traps that you think in your head could totally be a lot different than what it's going to take effect when you actually build these machines and build everything, and maybe it does look stupid. So going through some of these movies, it definitely is probably a lot of pressure building these traps. Really, other than Tobin Bell and some of these characters, what are we looking for in these Saw films? We're looking for good traps, you know, and we're looking for good prosthetics, and we're looking for good blood, and we're looking for a lot of different things. It also says, elaborating on the difficulty of creating fresh traps for each new film, Grutert said, it's really, really hard. Every year when I've been told we're doing another shoot, I'm like, how do we do it? Because a lot of it starts with the script, but sometimes the traps and cells are very shorthand. Yeah, and so it's another thing too. It's you know, every year or every shoot, you know, you have to, you know, the producer's job is to make sure that some of the filming is done on time. Okay, and when it comes to the directors, they have to make sure that they're not filming one scene for too long, or they want to make sure that things are perfect when it comes to maybe a trap scene, or how the trap looks, and how the, you know, the blood, and how everything is really connected to, you know, the camera shots, the camera angles. You know, there's so much that goes into a lot of the shooting with these traps. It's absolutely amazing. It says, following his nervous comment, Grucher noted that he was far more so on the other Saw movies, adding, "We had to do a lot of testing, mostly in pre-production, but we wound up having to split the shoot into 2 parts. 3 weeks in November, 3 weeks in January, because it was so complicated. We had to make so many prosthetics and machines, and over Christmas, we spent the entirety of figuring this stuff out." That's crazy. So literally with one trap scene, they had to cut it into like 2 different parts in 2 different months because it was that complicated on how to shoot this thing. That's just insane, man. I mean, you don't realize, like, everything that we see is a masterpiece with these Saw films when it comes to these traps, but we don't realize the work that really goes into this. And you're splitting 3 weeks in November, 3 weeks, 6 weeks to do one trap scene. 6 weeks in 2 different months. And working through the holidays. That's just crazy. That's just insane. He says, in the script, sometimes they are just as they appear, but usually there are a lot of long meetings between assorted people, the writers, production designer, the actors, where you just sit and hash through it. So getting through some of these traps too. So that's pretty cool. Says the inspiration for the Saw trap. So as far as when the team found inspiration, the filmmaker explained, "I have lots of books on medieval torture machines and other dark stuff, and sometimes we just pour through it and shoot ideas off each other. Some of the traps have evolved quite a lot from how they started, and then you have to think about how to actually pull it off." So definitely makes a lot of sense. A lot of these other movies, like Terrifier, is definitely another one where they look through medieval, where they literally look through medieval books on torture and how they tortured people. And yeah, that's where some of these, maybe some of these designs they look at in medieval torture project, maybe that happened years ago, and then they kind of add a little bit more of the Saw flavor to it a little bit. So, it really just depends on how it looks, how it's going to look in a movie, how they're going to die, how the prosthetics, the machines they have to build to make it look realistic, that this is a machine trap that they have to go through. Like, there's a lot of work that's put into the builds, prosthetics, blood, the right actress or actor to partake in this trap, which I think is really important because it gives off that effect. The cinematography, how the shots look, those shots where someone's going through a trap screaming and they do that like wind around with the camera all over the place in fast motion. Like, that's what I love from the early Saw movies a lot, and I think it's awesome. So I think with Kevin Guthrie, has worked his tail off. I think he's one of the best directors for the Saw franchise. I think we can all agree here. Saw 6 was great. The final chapter I absolutely loved as well, for the ending to the franchise, supposedly, until we get more of what's happening here. But I think we have a nice, fresh look, a brand new, fresh look that's going back to its roots, but obviously a different movie with a Tobin Bell type as the main protagonist of this movie, and is potentially going to be the hero of this film too. So we're not going to get too much of the background of the doctors, and these traps are getting better each movie. And yeah, we could probably agree that some traps in the past, some of them are kind of but I think going into this film, there's definitely some. The brain surgery trap, the eye trap. I mean, the metal wiring where the girl's sitting in the chair with the metal wiring going over her legs and part going near her neck. I mean, there's a lot of different traps here that are different, and you don't want to keep things similar. You want to keep things very different with the traps and make it more exciting for every single Saw movie that we're always excited for every single time. So other than that, that's pretty much it. We have gotten a lot of information on these traps, and Kevin Guthrie has not rushed through this process. He has taken his time with this, and he's doing it for the fans because, number one, he's a fan himself. I mean, I've seen a lot of things about Kevin Guthrie online so far recently, and he is just so into it, and he can't wait for this film to come out, and I can't wait. I hope we get somewhat of another trailer or something small really soon, just something to kind of tie. I mean, I'm already ready. I think I've obviously seen enough, and the director has already told us that what we've seen in the official trailer was not even close to what we're going to be seeing, and a lot of unanswered questions will be answered. So let me know what you guys think. Are you excited about the traps in this film? Do you think they'll be the best ones out of the whole franchise? And even if they're not, I think they're still going to be like very traumatizing regardless. So you guys have a fantastic day. You guys keep running. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.